first you introduce yourself, like what you are doing, like what you have been doing.
Sure. Okay, so my name is Latika Karnani, and I do a lot of things for my job. I am a web analytics specialist at Keurig Dr. Pepper, and um, that is one aspect of it. And the other is, you know me through the webinar for sustainability, and that is something I'm very passionate about. Um More so sustainability at an individual level, minimalism, consciousness, and consumerism. I'm really passionate about these things. So that is one aspect. And the most important aspect, I would say, is um, my love for English language. And so when I came to the US 5 years back, I came for masters in business management, and I chose that because it was less intensive than MBA, and it was more like a calling that I have to be in this college, Merrimack College in North Andover. It was like an instinct. Okay, and so I went through that instinct, and what happened was the course was very like it was not like computer science masters that many people do here, which is very intensive, and so all your efforts and energy and mind just keeps like is focused in that. What happened in this degree was I had a lot of free time. The degree itself was very flexible. There were no tests. It was all presentations, and so that was very relaxed part. So it was the most luxurious time of my life. Okay, and so I had a lot of time in hand apart from the coursework, and I started reading philosophy, which is something that we usually are not exposed to in India. And so now there are two things. One is reading for gaining something. Okay, that was there. I was interested in that knowledge part, but we could call it a gift or a sensibility that I can enjoy a sentence, a beautiful sentence in a different level.
Yes, I know that.
It's not like work. It's not, there is no hidden agenda behind reading. You just want to do it for the beauty and joy of it. Okay, so I started reading a lot. It started with philosophy, Will Durant's The Story of Philosophy. That was the first book which had a major impact. And one thing I learned from that was to go to other people that these people reference, whose style we like. So from Will Durant, I read Voltaire, and then I went to William Blake. And I used to hate poetry before because I wouldn't associate with poetry of this time and age. But when I read romantic poetry as in the literary movement, where you express individualism, when I read that sort of poetry, which is like William Blake, Walt Whitman, I was completely transformed. And then major transformation happened 2 years back when I stopped playing basketball. And because till then there was no sustainability and consumerism that was not in my head. I just wanted to play basketball, have the thrill of adrenaline rush. I didn't care about what was going in my stomach. So then when that basketball stopped, meditation practice increased, different sensibilities increased, and then since then it has been a whirlpool of changes. So yeah, that was my 5 years in US.
So you practice meditation?
Yes. Actually, when I was 20 years old in India, I did Vipassana in Nasik.
Okay.
So that is a very intensive thing. Like 10 days, you meditate for more than 10 hours, and you just eat twice a day. You don't talk, and the changes have been very gradual. But I would suggest that if you're really into it, do that 10-day course. It's free. It's completely free, and it's a life changing.
No, I've heard a lot of people, talking about that you should go for that. But then again, they suggest that, if you are a beginner, you should not go there. Like, 10 hours is more than enough. Like, no, it's India. People would say no more than a yes. So they are.
This thing is, it's a very controversial topic.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, if you, it's also more a time, okay? So you know that this is the time, and जब वो आता है ना अंदर से, just do it.
Yeah, I do practice meditation. I won't say like I don't follow the steps, or I would say I did not follow initially the steps. I would just close my eyes and sit for a while, or I would just interlock my hands and legs, as they would say, like all the energy should be in your body, should not go out. So your hands and legs should be interlocked. Like I had read blogs like few years back, and then in this lockdown, I started with this 6 phase meditation. I did it for a month, but then I couldn't do it because there are 6 phases, out of which one phase is if you can remember any of the instances from your past where your mind is getting upset because of that. So you try to remember that thing and then you forgive people. So that was one thing, and then there were last two steps, where first was that what you want to achieve today, like in the next 24 hours, and picture yourself like 5 years from now. So after 30 days, it became very haunting because first day I was like, ये करना है, ये करना है, ये करना है. And after 30 days, I was like, मुझे ना ये करना है, ना ये करना है, ना ये करना है. So that shift was like I was not ready to accept, because I have been thinking since years that I want to do this, and now my subconscious mind is saying that no, you're not supposed to do this, or at least it is not giving you a feeling that you should go for this. Then I stopped it. I was like, no, I'm not ready for this right now. So I would
Yeah.
stop with meditation. So I stopped
I'll
doing
tell you
that.
something similar happened. So when I did Vipassana, not immediately, but slowly, I realized that my passion for being an executive, like I wanted a corner office, I wanted to be, the same that we grew up with. And but then suddenly my like that industrial and service oriented mindset, it just went away. I felt I'm not ready for this dispassionate life. I want to stay connected with life. I'm still young, so I stopped doing it. But the importance of that is it increases your absorption of other things. Okay. And so in Vipassana also, like the score is to be neutral. So the logic is when you focus on your energies with a neutral mindset, you are making your subconscious, you're training your subconscious to be neutral towards all types of energies. And so everything is energy, right? Anger, greed, passion,
Right.
lust, love, right? That is the essence of Vipassana. And so you can learn from the most authentic sources that you can, and then you build your own philosophy. Because what
Correct.
is true 10 years from now is not true now. But yeah, it's important to learn it from an authentic source. That is what you can always modify and add up
Yeah.
things. Spice.
Correct. Yeah, but I feel that from school days, I used to read a lot. Like everything, I used to Google it. Wikipedia, Wikipedia, Wikipedia. Then after some years, I realized that Wikipedia is not a place where you can rely it completely, because everyone is writing there. So you need a correct resource. Then I started for going books, and then I realized that a small point would be elaborated into pages, but that reference would be so beautiful that it is worth it. Like I've read something 2 years back and I still remember it. So that is the essence. And then I feel now I know, how to gain those resources, which are the right resources. So there has been a very drastic change from choosing from, Wikipedia is the God, and then no, Wikipedia is not the God. But, I would like to mention this, that you are the first person जिसके साथ मैंने मेडिटेशन की बात की है, योगा की बात की है, and someone who has actually talked about reading books. I do have friends who read a lot, but they all are into mystery, horror, crime. ऐसी books read कर रहे हैं. Like no one is into philosophy or psychology, and definitely no one is into poetry. We had this webinar with you where you mentioned, like, you were practicing that thing. And to be honest, I didn't have any knowledge about, how you can reduce waste. Like, you were talking about product designing things. Don't create small packets, create big packets if you need it regularly, you use it on regular basis.
So reducing the size of the package and the same content, so
The
that
same content, yeah.
Let's start with the extreme end only. Let's not talk about consuming. Let's start with makeup. I'll give you an excellent example. Okay, when I was younger, I would love nail polish. Okay, but there was something in me that did not like when a small chip would come out of it, and then it would just destroy the aesthetics for which it was created. And I thought it looked cheap when that thing would come off. So then I stopped putting it on because it didn't feel right, because it was not aesthetically beautiful after a few days. And then new things came up. You could put like a transparent one, so the logic would increase. But then even then, something felt off with the smell or with the time and efforts that would go into putting it and then cleaning it. So you see those small things that initially you didn't like, the like when it would chip off, it didn't feel right. So those are some moments when we could capture our thought, and we can think, we can build on it. Like, why am I not liking it? Because essentially nail polish is pure chemical. Okay. So imagine using that bottle, buying it, the thought that goes behind which colors. And if you go more philosophically into this, we are trying to get more beautiful. We are trying to have the feeling of more grace in us with the application of nail polish, which essentially is futile, because boys don't need it, right? They can still be confident, they can be elegant, they can be graceful. So that is one, like nail polish is one thing that is a completely unnecessary usage of our time and efforts and money. Right? So that is completely eliminating the product. So this is because I don't believe in recycle or reuse.
Okay.
The best and the most efficient thing is low consumption.
Okay. True.
Okay. Right? Then up till last year, I didn't think that I could avoid lipstick. Like I wanted some color on my lips. Okay. But then I started realizing there are so many chemicals, and then I tried shifting towards natural lipsticks. But even then, there were things that was like the time would go into making sure it's not it's not like it's consistent, and after reapplication of it in 2 hours, and then I just didn't think that I could get rid myself of a colored lip balm or something. But in the past 1 year, things have changed as the practice grew and as confidence grew in other things. And now I just like, if it's really cold, I put a very normal lip balm with no color. And the amount of freedom, the amount of independence, and the time that you gain by destroying the ability in an external object to give you confidence, it is unmatchable. So it's about less consumption of things. And so, okay, I'll give you another brilliant example. I recently got a chair from a thrift store, really cheap. I got this chair, which it's an antique chair, and so the craftsmanship in that is amazing. And when you sit on it, you automatically sit very straight because of the way it is designed. Okay, and so as opposed to a couch or these reclining chairs that we have these days, where you can slump your posture, but in that, a grace comes automatically. This thought occurred to me one day. I was drinking tea in there, sitting like a king, and I thought that this is the feeling people would get by dressing up really well, wearing heels, walking in with a straight posture. Like, this is the confidence and grace and beauty that people think they're getting from those objects, but it could as well come with a straight posture and a freer and happier thought.
You have a point. Okay, so I would say that environment or sustainability is not one of the key points, but I would say that you are trying to practice and preach minimalism somewhere, like, which things are not needed, just, just don't use them, or just don't do that. Because you mentioned about, external things, or if we are giving them importance. And this is mentioned in minimalism also, that don't own objects, or don't own more furniture or a large house, because the more you have, the more time is spent on, like, what would I say? More time is spent on, taking care of those, yeah, managing those things, taking care of those things, and then you have very less time. So yeah, I agreed. I actually agree to this point.
So why would you need more time? You would need more time when you have this burning passion in your mind that you have to do something, you have to achieve something, you
Hmm.
have to make the most of your time. Okay, only then would you value your time. Otherwise, it would go away in just sitting in a restaurant, talking with friends about this and that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct.
And then furniture part, like I'll give you an excellent example. Actually, I think I can. So there's a carpet, and on it there is a little thick blanket sort of thing, and um, and I love it.
You
So if I
actually sleep on that.
yeah, I don't
Like, you
have a
don't
bed.
have
I
a
don't
bed.
no, I don't own a bed, and it's not about money. It's not about
Yeah, yeah, I
it's.
understood that.
First of all, it helps my back. I have a weaker back, so that is one thing. But the other thing is, when I sleep on floor, I have to make sure the floor itself is clean. If there is a
Hmm.
bed, things go underneath it. Cleaning it is difficult. Then if I move, then I have to carry the entire bed. It's not convenient for me, and I just don't need a bed. And so it could be an extreme thing, and I couldn't get rid of it. If I was living with my family, but
Hmm.
since I'm living by myself, I could do these things. So owning less objects is definitely. I used to have so many clothes, and it was just baffling. And now I have very less clothes. I haven't bought anything in the past 1 year.
Hmm.
Absolutely nothing related to clothes. And yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the webinar also, like, you have replaced that cosmetic things also. You shared a picture of yours.
Yeah,
Uh, I really love that. I feel that there are many things, which you agree, but then when it comes to implementation, it is like, no, we cannot do these things. But this
yeah,
bed
it makes
thing is really very nice. I really loved it. Like, like, since I'm from a family where, when we have our periods, when, that 6 to 7 days, we are not supposed to touch anything. We are supposed to sit in a corner, and we just get a blanket. We don't get anything else. And those 3 days are like, the worst days. Like, I would be like, Mom, I'm already having cramps and you want me to sleep on floor. But yeah, you're doing
maybe
this daily.
maybe the reason, like the scientific reason behind that is it helps because we get backache, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sleep on the floor helps fix that. So it's not like a
Hmm.
rule, but it may
Hmm.
help you. But I don't know why. Let's talk about sanitary napkins.
Hmm.
There was a time. Okay, so what happened was, first of all, sanitary napkins. They have plastic in it, so that. But
Yes.
that's extreme. Let's not talk about that. But the fragrance that they put in it, the
Hmm. Hmm.
perfume that
Hmm.
it started irritating me. Okay,
Yes, yes.
the smell is really bad um, of whatever perfume they put in it. So then I shifted to the non-chlorine, non-perfume ones, and it's readily available in USA. I don't think it's readily available in India
I
because
doubt.
last yeah you couldn't find. But recently, then I switched to what my mom used to tell me, that how they used these reusable cloths.
Hmm. 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 Yes.
So I don't use it on first day or second if I'm going out, but later, we don't need so much of that.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
like you can use reusable ones and you can
Correct.
wash it and you can keep it, but it's it's difficult because 10 years down, I used to feel irritated that mom even suggested me something
Correct.
that is not convenient. I thought she's trying to save money. I thought
Hmm.
that she doesn't want, like, she's just being frugal. But now I have reverted back with what she preached. and it's a different, like, these things, we cannot tell you. It cannot be an external source. It has to come from
Mm-hmm.
inside. You have to smell the grossness. You have to understand the impact of those sanitary napkins. And I it's the when we shift internally, when we shift to minimalism, naturalism, it helps the environment by default.
Correct, correct.
I'm using less products, so that sustainability comes in. But for me, it comes from the individual, right? Because I don't
Right.
want to change industries. I don't want to get into politics. It's
Okay,
about
yeah, true.
empowering an individual.
It's about the choices we make, but I feel that we have already been into that side, that thinking that that after completing our college we need a very good job where we have a lot of money, we can own things. We always focus on that things, that materialistic things. I feel कि बहुत सारी चीजें ना marketing भी ये कर रही, like same goes for the sanitary napkins. So, you mentioned that you have in USA that is available non-fragrance one. In India, if you see the commercials, they would be focusing on the fragrance only. Like, is that comfortable or not? That is a secondary option, but they would be like, कि इसका fragrance बहुत अच्छा है. So the marketing thing is एक अलग ही direction में हमको लेके जा रहा है. एक लालच दे रहा है कि ये अच्छा है, वो अच्छा है. But yeah, I really like this thing, like minimalism, naturalism. Yeah, yeah. How was your experience at Howard Business School? Like you did a course there, right? So was that
Yeah,
an
I did
online
an
course, or you used to go there and
online. No, it
learn?
was an online certification. Harvard is very near to my house, so I just go there
Okay.
for a walk. But I
Okay.
haven't I haven't taken classes there.
Okay.
Um, so it was a wonderful experience. The professor who created that course and who was in the videos guiding us through, Rebecca Henderson, very powerful woman. I took the course because I saw her video and I was inspired, and the way she talks about it is empowering. And so, yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and I gained a lot of knowledge. And yeah, and the content of the webinar, a lot of it was from the course that we studied.
Okay. Okay. So how long was that course?
3 weeks.
That's so that
Yeah.
3 weeks had such a huge impact on you. Like,
No, so the practices that I was talking about, it's going on from years, two
okay.
years. The business knowledge, like what's
Mm-hmm.
happening in the industries, that came with the course. Like
Okay.
where
Okay.
exactly are we standing in
Okay.
the current environment?
You're doing literature also, right? You mentioned that you do like you're learning, like you focus your time on English for 6 to 7 hours a day.
Yeah, it varies, but a majority of my time goes in reading, and um, yeah, that's my priority: literature, sustainability,
And then
everything
everything
else.
else. So this reading is something that is like just going to be lifelong thing, right? Or are you planning to stop somewhere and then start with something new?
um, I'm working on a book. Publishing it is not of importance.
Okay.
Creating
Yes.
exceptional poems is, but creating a really good poem takes time. I
Mm-hmm.
have to be constantly on my toes. That like there has to be a revelation in me, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
a long process. There's discipline involved. There needs to be this pure desire and want. You have to be open towards the rhythms that come when that revelation comes. Oh, this is a universal truth that can go in
Mm-hmm.
a poem.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
So creating a poem of universal value, it's a different
Mm-hmm.
game. And I have written some exceptional poems. I know they are good. I know they are worthy of being out in the world. But when the time is right, it will come. My focus is on
Creating
learning,
it. Yeah.
the reading the best things that
Mm-hmm.
the best minds have written, so that I can improve, and creating, that's the focus for now.
Yeah. Even you always wanted to say.
Yeah, okay. So the first thing, the door conversation that we had, it was when we say hi to other people,
Hmm.
when we interact with other people. that is one medium when, like, if we can become a robot, like, hi, how are you? Good. But if you are present, if you truly enjoy language, then you would. I want to be creative. Every time someone says hi, I want to tell them exactly how I'm feeling. So how do you do that? How do you modify how are you? Fine, thank you. This sentence into something creative, something that could make other person think and smile and be happy that they are talking to you. So say suppose you enter a door. Okay, the door is blue in color. You notice there's a painting, there's this, there's that. You say, hi, how are you? And I say, I am as blue as the door. If you're feeling sad, or if you are feeling really good, you can say, I'm feeling as good as the smile on your face. Now, it may sound flirty right now, but there are ways you can make it really more original, and less. People will get it that it's not you're not trying to flatter anyone. It's only for the beauty of conversation, for the beauty of um, a sentence that you have created for that person.
Yeah.
Right, so you're making, so there is an importance. So the whole that moment is uplifted when you try to take it from the mediocrity of hi, how are you. So that is the one thing that we were talking about. Coming up with beautiful sentences. I can give you one example, or maybe it's these 6 lines that I have written, and it came after I was extensively reading Shakespeare sonnets, and I think it's the best 6 lines that I have written. And here it goes. Okay. It is a lie that I write this for you. Truth be told, it does more good to me than to you. But in each other's need, we shall exceed. So, under the shadow of this rhyme and wit, where my emptiness is reduced, you may sit, but only to be moved.
Wow, that is really very nice. I really loved it. You know, that truth thing, which would be better for me than you. And what was the last sentence? You are here to sit, but to be moved. I really loved that.
Shadow of this rhyme and wit, where my emptiness is reduced, you may sit. You can enjoy what I'm saying, but only to be moved. So, what I love about these lines is it's very simple. There is some raw truth in it. There is some universality in it. You know, you get it.
I got it. So, okay, so this is the last question and favorite of mine. What that the hypothetical question that how do you want people to remember you after you are gone, or after anything, like if you're not gone. आज अगर हम मतलब जॉब से बाहर जा रहे हैं 6 बज गए हैं तो लोगों को दिन खत्म हो रहा है तो लोग मतलब क्या सोच के सोए कि मतलब what should be that ideal thought about Latika Karnani?
Yeah, I love that question. Many people ask me that, and the essence always remains the same. Words change, but I should like to be remembered as someone who had the gift of enjoying a beautiful sentence immensely, and with it, she could enjoy the mysteries of life, mysteries of eternity. I should like to be remembered as someone who was so happy, who could see this happiness and radiance and brilliance in life, uh, and who could capture it in poems.
I just when you were saying this, and as you mentioned that a lot of people have asked you about the same thing. I read this book about what is the name? The Fault in Our Stars. I guess that's the book, if I'm not wrong. I had that segment. Wait, I read it. That's my favorite segment. Like, we are always trying to be somebody, and we want that people should remember us. So just a second. I've already
I think I know what you're saying. It's about, but oblivion is inevitable. Are you referring to that?
I guess I've read so many things. I just there will come a time, I said, when all of us are dead, all of us, there will come a time when there are no human beings remaining to remember that anyone ever existed or that our species ever did anything. There will be no one left to remember Aristotle, let alone you. Everything that we did and built and wrote and thought and discovered will be forgotten, and all of this will have been for naught. Maybe that time is coming soon, and maybe it is millions of years away. But even if we survive the collapse of our sun, we will not survive forever. There was time before organisms experienced consciousness, and there will be time after. And if the inevitability of human oblivion worries you, I encourage you to ignore it. God knows that what everyone else does. Yeah, the same one that you mentioned.
Also good.
Yeah, suggest me also some books, some of the books I would like to read. I have never read philosophy. I've never read that.
If you want to start, I think the best is Wildoranth, The Story of Philosophy. It's a pretty
Okay.
thick book, but it's a
Hmm.
compendium of all the philosophers and what they have said. And the way
Okay.
Wildoranth says it, it's his language that he does shameless worship of heroes. Okay, and
Okay.
his language is grand and epic, and it exalts human mind.
Okay.
And so it gives you gods in humans, and it gives you a beautiful language, and it gives you a faith that you can, like, so there will come a time when you would know that there are no answers. All truth is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then when you have this nihilistic tendencies that we don't know what to do, nobody knows anything. When you find solace in beauty of his language, that's one way to lift yourself up back from the emptiness that comes with too much reading. So Wildoranth, if you want to start something, Wildoranth, The Story of Philosophy. And from there, you'll have unlimited suggestions to move forward.
It was a great session. Thank you, Latika, for taking out some time from your schedule.